Hi there, Vic, the ENT surgeon. Now, today I want to continue my little thread of experimenting on myself for the sake of this YouTube channel for some unusual reason. And I'm going to tell you about my little experiment of using CPAP at night. I don't need CPAP. And uh, it was something I think ought to do. If I'm sort of recommending this device to people as a sleep surgeon, I really ought to know what it feels like and you know, at least try it out for myself. And I have admittedly tried it out a few times in the last year. Um, and I was a little bit worried because I didn't want to use a ResMed and the newfangled top of the range, ResMed 42, whatever it is, and with all the bells and whistles, because then ResMed will want to kill me. Particularly if I can't use it. So I got a different manufacturer, which probably no one knows about, which is fine, a Taiwanese company. And I used a setting, I used CPAP and I used APAP just to give it a go on different nights. My one, I'll show you here, has a warmer humidifier and things like that. And I tried it with and without. My pressures obviously weren't very high. I think the maximum I ever got was 6 when I had a cold, um, and a bit of a cough, and I kept coughing back into the CPAP. And yes, I was really worried that I wouldn't be able to use this, and then I would have to admit to everyone that it's really hard and difficult, and I gave up on it. So no, I didn't give up. I carried on going, and it was hard. It was really hard. I mean, I'll show you my mask as it's sitting on me. I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear any of this as I talk, but I will try and shout loudly through this microphone. Anyway, so yeah, I'm I'm not going to put this strap on, but it sits like that. Um, and I have a beard, and I was worried that it would leak out of the beard side of it, and it didn't really. I guess probably because my pressures weren't too high. It did leak ever so slightly when I leaned. I tend to sleep on my side, so when I lay on my side, it sort of leaked in my eye a couple of times, particularly at the start. And it took me a bit of time to fall asleep with it on, and I woke up 3 or 4 times on the first night, and I didn't like it, and my wife particularly didn't like it, and as time has gone on over the 2 or 3 weeks I've been using it recently, she's sent me downstairs to the to the sofa because she just doesn't like the idea of someone, with this thing on their face, which is understandable, particularly as she thinks I've gone clinically mad wearing this thing even if I don't need it. But the things I do for this YouTube channel. Anyway, the idea was that I just wanted to try it out. Um, and yeah, for a while, I kept ripping it off in the middle of the night and going, "Oh, I just can't wear it again." And I'd wake up with it on the other side of the room. And later on, I didn't realize I was ripping it off. I had no recollection of taking it off in the middle of the night. I just wake up with it slung on the other side of the room. But as I said, it would be bad of me to say that publicly on YouTube, particularly if I'm recommending it. So I stuck with it. And with time, I was able to use this on all the different settings all through the night. I didn't like it. And I think if it made me feel better in the mornings, yeah, I probably would carry on with it. I would be incentivized to use it. If I saw numbers saying, "Oh, by the way, you didn't have sleep apnea last night and you lived to see another day," and all that sort of stuff, your risk of heart attacks and strokes and dementia and depression have all come down, then I probably will, yeah, I'll carry on. I'm not going to carry on with this. This is not something I enjoy wearing in any way. Um, and I found CPAP a little bit harder than APAP, understandably, because there's a little bit more pressure with CPAP compared to APAP. And I guess the pressures went down quite low with APAP at times. Um, I didn't personally find the humidifier and the warmer particularly useful. I think my bedroom's quite warm, which it shouldn't be. I know it should be around about sort of 18, 19 degrees at night, possibly a little bit lower. But I'm Indian. I like it warmer at night. Um, But when I had a cold, and I tried it when I had a cold and a cough, yeah, I found the humidifier ever so slightly easier, particularly when I ripped it off and blew my nose and then put it back on again. When I had a cough, I found it hard, in the morning because when I took it off, I felt like there's a lot of sputum in my chest. Um, and I've brought up an awful lot of stuff in the morning. So I can see how, possibly, it can exacerbate if you've got an awful lot of mucus in your chest, it can exacerbate that because it prevents you from breathing out as much as you could. I should say, I don't recommend if you've got no sleep apnea or no reason to use CPAP, don't do what I did. Don't try it on. I vaguely know what I'm doing, so I know that I can change the settings and just be safe about not causing myself a problem with wearing these things. I did feel at times when I pushed the CPAP a bit too high that my lungs were under some sort of strain. But all in all, although I didn't really like the experience and I felt more tired during the day wearing it for those 2 weeks, it was all right. I got over it and I managed it and I survived. I didn't use all the clever liners and creams and things like that because I kind of wanted to experience it like a lot of people do around the world, where they're just given a CPAP device and said, "Look, get on with it," and they're not given much advice about it. So I tried to recreate that, and it's hard. And I understand now why. It's really nice to have someone on the other end of the phone to help you through, to educate you, and hopefully your sleep center will do that for you. In this country, we're quite lucky. We have Kath Hope at the Hope to Sleep charity. So if you join her Facebook charity forum thing, they are very nice and supportive of each other. They help each other out with little niggles and when the humidity is set too high and you get water in the pipe and all that sort of stuff. They help people through that because doctors we forget all that and how to train people. We don't possibly have the time, or we don't really understand the problems people have when wearing this because we don't use it ourselves. And yeah, that was one of the reasons I wore it, just to experience it and know what I'm putting people through um, when I ask them to wear it. And just to backtrack a little bit, I'm a surgeon. I operate on people to get them off this machine if they want to. Sometimes I operate to allow them to use this machine more if they want to. But I do encourage people to use it purely because although it's difficult to use and not very nice, it can make a very simple, non-invasive, relatively non-invasive way of helping you with your obstructive sleep apnea with very few risks. Um, and it also helps me. I'm a surgeon, and if I want someone to have an operation, I want them to be in the best possible physiological state before an operation. I want to optimize their health as much as possible before an operation because that really helps me. If they turn up for an operation really tired, sleep deprived, they've got pulmonary hypertension, their lungs are all shot, their diabetes is high, their blood pressure is high, and then they want me to do an operation. And this operation, some operations take several months to work because you're waiting for the scar tissue to open up the throat. And then so if you've got stitches and wounds and incisions in the back of your throat after doing this operation, how's anything going to heal together if there's no oxygen going to your throat? So I really encourage people before, during, and after an operation to wear their CPAP, particularly if they become hypoxic at night or have low oxygen, because it means that the success rate of the operation goes up and the risk of complications, risks, infections, all those other things go down after or during an operation. This is really useful. So if you want an operation, you're thinking about an operation, if you can use a CPAP, and I really encourage you to try, but and I know it's hard, I have personal experience now. If you can use it, it really helps, particularly 3 months prior to an operation, and once everything is healed up afterwards. There's good evidence to show that even with a nose operation or throat operation or any other thing, wearing this in the sort of the time around an operation significantly helps you. And if the idea is to get you off CPAP, well, then just use it for that time so that you can get through the operation, get a good result, and then you can finally come off your CPAP if that's what you truly want. And like I said, some people just want to just want to be able to use it easier. And I can see how if the pressures are really high, it's constantly going into your eyes or going down into your stomach and giving you sort of burping all the time or coming out the other end, then reducing the pressure so you're not blasting air down can make your life certainly a lot more tolerable. Um, and I know a lot of people will say on this video, I get a lot of hate mail saying, "Oh no, well, you don't have CPAP, you don't know what it's like." It's true. This is the closest I can get to using CPAP, and I hope that I know a little bit more about what it's like to be a CPAP user. Um, and it's difficult. And I would definitely join one of these forums, like the Hope to Sleep charity um, group on Facebook. They're very nice. They're really nice, supportive people. And it does help to have a community around you to help you through. This is not great, but it's certainly better than all the side effects and problems with obstructive sleep apnea. Think that's all I got to say. I think I'm gonna sort of calm down on the amount of self-experimentation just for this YouTube channel. And I think my wife needs a bit of a break from all this stuff going on. So I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.